Today, I just wanted to do a quick live and talk a little bit about how Wholesale FBA has been going for me the past. I guess I haven't done an update in like maybe a month. I know it's been at least a few weeks. So I kind of just want to talk about December and how December went. It was really good for, you know, it being my fifth month, basically, I believe at this point, of selling on Amazon. And if you can see the thumbnail there, I did around $2,000 of gross profit with a 27% ROI, 13% margin. I had gross sales of $15,540 and 745 orders. All in all, I was really happy with Q4 in general. I did make a lot of mistakes though. One of them was, I'd say the biggest one obviously was replenishments. And when it comes to the replenishments, obviously there's going to be there there's going to be this like lag time of when you order the product and when it gets into the warehouse. And you really need to be able to figure out, okay, when is this product going to sell out? When should I order it to make sure everything is going to be kept in stock? All of that. Well, a lot of the products that I ordered, it took longer than I expected for it to get in the warehouse, and it's probably because I don't have much experience with the reorders of products yet. I just have a lot of experience with the product research side of things, like getting products in there initially. And a lot of you might remember that have been following. I obviously was in Vegas for basically the beginning of November through mid-November, which is probably the time that I should have been doing a lot of my replenishes for the couple weeks leading up to Christmas that get really crazy. And one of my biggest mistakes was I was more focused on, poker because I was in Vegas with a lot of money on the line. I obviously cashed big in a lot of tournaments. Um, but I didn't take the time every day to go in and, check my inventory, make sure I was putting in the replenishments, doing more product research, adding more products. And that's really the only way your business will be successful with FBA. Yeah, you can hire a VA to do it for you eventually and all that, but I don't think anyone's going to care as much about your business. And this is something Jason talks a lot about, and this guy Alex Hermosi, who Jason referred me to. No one cares as much about your business as you do. And I haven't found a VA that I had some really good VAs with the drop shipping business back in the day, but I haven't really felt comfortable yet allowing a VA to do the sourcing for me or do the replenishments for me or anything like that, because I'm still in the learning phases myself, and I don't really want to hand off my business to another person when I'm still going in figuring out things on a daily basis, how I want to operate. So I just need to make sure that I'm staying on top of things. And that was, like I said, my biggest mistake is I was focused on other things for even if it was only a 2 week period. What's up, Kevin? How's it going? Appreciate you showing up. Yeah, Paul J. Lipsky's a good friend of mine. Um, but yeah, even if it's for a 2 week period, that can be crucial if the timing works out where that 2 weeks is where you should have been doing your replenishments, or you should have been going hard, trying to get more inventory into your store for a specific time period. Like, if things are seasonal, or if there's a holiday coming up, or if it's Q4 or whatever, it's going to be a crucial time. But that's just something, that's just like a learning curve for me. And uh, all in all, I can't complain with how things are going now. All that inventory that I did order when I got back from Vegas, a lot of it didn't make it into the warehouse in time, but it's starting to come in now. And the biggest thing for me is just continuing to get my inventory limits up and just constantly be replenishing my winners and getting rid of my losers. So that's what my main focus is now, is just constantly filling my store with winners and just, selling out of the losers and not really caring about taking a loss on some of the things. I want that turnover in my store so that my limits can go up. I started at 1,000 unit limit when I first started 6 months ago, and I got it up to 1950. And then, as I mentioned, I just didn't replenish my winners. A lot of stuff went out of stock, and so my limits actually decreased from 1950 down to 1650, which is where I'm at now. And that's really the only thing stopping me from growing. I mean, everything else, I have the capital. I feel like I have good knowledge. I'm learning new things every day about Amazon. It's really just about getting in there and being active inside your store, and you'll just figure things out. Things will click. You'll get those aha moments, and that's really like where I'm at right now with everything. But limits is basically the limiting factor. Whereas, if you're doing drop shipping, it's more so about your credit limits that are the limiting factor, and your time. But the thing with time is you can just hire VAs and outsource. Here, Amazon's really only allowing you to go so fast. So my plan for 2022 is to get a lot of low cost products in, and probably like half my store is going to be items under $10 for the first little bit. Maybe just make $1 a sale, like whatever. But I really just want to get that turnover going so that I can increase my limits, and then I'll start putting some slower moving, higher dollar items in there. Initially, I thought I was, on a pretty good roll where I could go ahead and order some like $100, $150 products that would only sell, maybe once or twice a month max, and would have a high margin when I sell them. But really, that's gonna bring my limits down, because my turnover is gonna be a lot slower if I fill my store with a lot of those products. So basically, my strategy: get a lot of lower dollar items in there, constantly turn the inventory, constantly get my limits increased, and then just slowly add in those higher margin home run products that every time it gets a sale, you're making $20 plus. And yeah, that's the game plan. But outside of that, what other? I'm trying to think. Oh, the other mistake I made. So I noticed my sales were really slow for the past 2 weeks. And I just, wrote it up to it being Q1, Christmas is over, whatever. A lot of my inventory is like in FC transfer, like reserved or whatever. So I can't even sell it yet until Amazon does what they need to do on their side. But then I was going through my store this morning, and this is really just about like being in touch with your business and making sure you're in there every single day, knowing what's going on. I noticed that my repricer that I was using, for some reason, like, I don't know if it doesn't automatically turn the repricing on for some products or whatever, but my repricer that I'm currently testing out and using, it had like half my items with the repricing off. So my items were just staying the same price, and they weren't, moving up and down based on competition. Obviously, if you don't use a repricer, your sales are going to be just complete dust. Like, you're not really going to get, you're not going to be able to compete if you don't use a repricer, in my opinion, unless you're manually going in every day, moving the price up and down. But obviously, that's a waste of time when you can just have a solid repricer that does it for you. So yeah, like half my items were the repricing was off on it. So I fixed that this morning, hoping to see an uptick in sales from that. But I mean, it's a learning lesson for sure. Next time I see slow sales, I'll go in and check and just see if anything's wrong with the repricer. um, see if anything's wrong with the account, whatever. But yeah, you just learn little things to check on as you go and make mistakes. So that's where I'm at. But I guess one of the questions that I believe, let me check. I think it was Kevin again. He said, um, "Can you do FBA wholesale remotely?" And the question is, or the answer is yes, if you're using the right software, like logistics, all of that. And me personally, that's why I've used Ecom Solutions to start my wholesale FBA business. Ecom Solutions basically is a all-in-one platform for wholesale FBA Amazon sellers, or I guess FBA is fulfilled by Amazon. So yeah, that's repetitive. But for people who sell on Amazon using FBA and they want to do wholesale, Ecom Solutions right now is the best option for people who want to do this remotely. They don't want to have to worry about boxes, pallets, whatever, stacking up in their driveway on their doorstep. Maybe you live in a house, in an apartment. You don't have a garage. Like you don't have a house with a garage. You can't do this yourself. Like you need a warehouse. You need a prep center. If you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do this remotely, you can outsource and hire a prep center to do it for you, ship the items there. But that's very costly. Like at the end of the day, the markup that Ecom Solutions is charging covers that prep service for actually a less expensive cost per unit than what you would probably end up paying one of these prep centers that you would ship the inventory to. Then they prep it for you. Then they send it into Amazon. So yeah, you can. The answer is you can do this remotely, but you have to have the right setup. And if you're not experienced, you're not going to know right out of the gate what the setup should be. So if you want to go, fast and you want to see success in like a relatively short time frame. And when I say relatively, if you have this if you have this wholesale business yourself, and you start today and you have to get all these parts in place to make it work, it's going to take you months, right? Whereas if you log on to Ecom Solutions today and you start sourcing products and you click the order button, then that's going to take you minutes. All right, so it's months instead of months, it's minutes, literally, that you're getting started, and those items are going to show up into Amazon's warehouse in a few weeks, depending on the category, depending on the supplier. It could take a couple months for the product to get in, but that's like if you do this yourself and order from a supplier, it's still going to take months, but it's also going to take you months to set everything up to get to that point. So a lot of the grocery items and things like that I'm ordering, lead time is 10 to 20 days max. And I'm ordering it today. I'm seeing it get into Amazon in just a couple weeks. So do they charge per square foot? No, they do not charge per square foot in terms of what Ecom Solutions does. They don't charge any fees outside of just the monthly recurring and the profit split, or like the monthly recurring fee is like a minimum of the profit split. But you can find out more on their website and whatever, or just message me with questions, leave a comment, and I can break down the exact pricing for you. But no, they don't charge like to keep the items in the warehouse or like prep the items, etc. That's already all built in to what they're charging for the products, and then what they're charging for the Ecom Solutions software, the Seats database, to find those products. Um, but yeah, I mean, my biggest thing when I was starting to try to do wholesale while I was still drop shipping on my store, uh, I just I had I hired somebody to do it for me. Not sure how experienced they were at the time doing it, but they were reaching out to suppliers. They were trying to get items into my store, whatever. It just seemed like the only wholesale relationships I could create was with distributors that had like very crappy products. And then outside of that, there was no like database that I could search through to immediately know which products are profitable to sell on Amazon or not. Whereas Ecom Solutions, they really like do a great job of making sure each product is linked. So like the supplier gives them the UPC code and like the item information, whatever. You're able to see which product that is on Amazon inside their database, and they're able to do all the calculations of, okay, this is a profitable item or not, and then you're able to filter them out and see those profitable items. Whereas if you get a spreadsheet from a distributor, there's going to be thousands of products that you don't even want to look at, like that you know that aren't going to be profitable, right? You can put it through a scanner, and you can put the spreadsheet through one of these scanning softwares that like runs the UPC and finds the product on Amazon, whatever. But a lot of that information is inaccurate. There's variations and things like that and there's multiple ASINs for one UPC. A lot of times, like if back in the day when people were drop shipping items, they would change the UPC code so it wasn't like in line with what the actual product was. So you're just gonna find a lot of those if you use one of those scanning softwares. Whereas Ecom Solutions actually has an office in the Philippines that they have somebody looking at each product and matching it up, making sure that this product is with this ASIN and that, all the information's there, whatever. Like I said, all of it's being calculated. You just use a filter, boom, it's right in front of you. Then you go in, you check Keepa, you check helium 10, all that stuff. It's much simpler of a process. I can literally go in right now if someone like wanted to time me, and I could find something would want to buy in like less than 5 minutes. I would say less than 2 minutes, but I've been doing more of I've been going through Keepa harder and going through helium 10 and stuff and making sure that everything really lines up. But it's very, very fast. Um, but yeah, I was trying to. Oh, I actually got to go to the Ecom Solutions warehouse and meet with Jason, meet with Keith. Keith is the VP of business development. Jason obviously was the founder of Ecom Solutions. Their warehouse is awesome. Their prep team, awesome. The warehouse manager, probably one of the best. Like with how they manage everything and how organized they are over there. I got to go see actually my shelf with my items that were waiting to be prepped and sent into Amazon. So that was pretty cool because with me doing this remote and also with me being a drop shipper for 4 years before I started doing FBA, it was always interesting, like thinking, you're thinking about selling something and you see that you sold it, but it's not tangible to you, right? Like it's just a transaction. Like you never actually know what the customer got or anything. It's just literally a digital transaction that you just look at. That's how I've been feeling about FBA. It's kind of interesting because I've been ordering the products. I never get to see them. They just go directly into FBA. Everything's taken care of for me, and you're just clicking buttons and making money. But when you actually go see the operation and you get to see what your physical products look like inside that warehouse sitting on the shelf, and you see your store name on that shelf, and you're like, wow, this is my stuff. Like I bought all this stuff. This is crazy. One of the people that I referred into Ecom Solutions, he had like 3 pallets sitting there. And right now he's up against his limits. And what the cool thing about Ecom Solutions is, no, I don't advertise. I don't advertise. Everything's on Amazon. So the cool thing with Ecom Solutions is they will really keep track of your store limits and they'll keep track of what they can send in. So this guy that, like I said, I referred in, he has 3 pallets sitting there and his limits are full. As soon as his limits get to a point where they can send in another pallet, that pallet's being shipped that day. So if you ran your own warehouse and or you had a prep center do that for you, you would probably have to tell most of the prep centers, hey, my inventory limits are tapped out right now. Could you hold this? And then you have to contact them back whenever you probably want that shipped. That's just my assumption. It's probably how it goes. Whereas here at Ecom Solutions, I don't have like I can just order as much as I want to. It sits on the shelf. My limits they'll stay up against my limits whenever inventory limits become available for things to ship in. Um, so the program is everything they said it would be. Yes, for me, it has been everything they said it would be. I haven't run into any big issues that I can think of. All of the big issues that occur are normal Amazon things that you would have to deal with yourself, even if Ecom Solutions wasn't in the picture. So an example would be, and luckily I only bought like 10 units of this item. Luckily there was this like Ghirardelli chocolate candy that I bought, and they discontinued the ASIN. So what that means basically is I had to take the inventory out of Amazon, and instead of having it shipped back to my house, I actually just had them destroy it. But I had like 9 or 10 units in there, and each unit was like $10. So I lost like $100 of inventory. That's just something you're gonna have to deal with, regardless. The other one was I had a listing that was search suppressed. I bought like 50 units of it before it was search suppressed, and there was this title that was like perfect for all, or like, yeah, like something like that. And you can't say perfect for all or perfect for everyone or whatever in the product title. Obviously, I didn't build this product title. This is one that was already on the Amazon or in the Amazon database. And when a search suppressed happens, obviously that's not showing up in the Amazon search results anymore when someone searches for it. So I had 50 units just like sitting there, and they weren't moving for a few weeks after this. But luckily, we were able to work with Amazon to get the listing migrated to another ASIN for the variation. The other one, the other issue that I had, and again, these are not Ecom Solutions. This isn't like their fault. This is things that you're going to be dealing with in terms of being an Amazon seller anyway. So this just goes along with like you asking if the program is everything I thought it would be. Yeah, I mean that you order the products, they get delivered to Ecom Solutions warehouse, they get prepped, they get sent into Amazon, and then I'm seeing sales. Really can't really can't ask for much more. Um, I'm just clicking buttons, as I've said before. Clicking buttons, making profit. I saw another question here. Let me see. How's the profit with wholesale compared to the old eBay dropship days? So the thing with wholesale, right? There's some advantages here. One of the big advantages right now is I don't have to have employees do my business for me. One of the disadvantages is when I have an employee, it's much more complicated than dropshipping. So the overhead costs are super low. There's really not like a back end profit that you can take advantage of other than just, credit card points. There's no Lowe's, Home Depot coupons. There's no Walmart discounted gift cards I can use. So that's an edge that's like gone. But I mentioned at the beginning of the video my ROI, and I can actually pull this up on my computer right now. Well, my computer basically died. I'm on my phone doing this. But my ROI was around, like my return on investment for my products was around 26 or 27% for December, and the margin was 13%. A lot of the drop shipping days, or the eBay drop shipping days, once I started using Sale Freaks, where if you've been following me for a long time, then you heard all about Sale Freaks back in the day. That's what I used to run my eBay business, and it was automated. So, I would just list thousands of products. I would take a very, very small margin, and then I would make 5% cash back on the back end with the Amazon card. So my margins are actually like way better now with wholesale. The overhead's lower. The one thing I will say is there's, a bigger barrier to entry to scale. I really didn't have limits on eBay. I did at first, but they moved them up, very quickly to the point where eventually I was basically unlimited inventory that I could list. And then with Amazon drop shipping and Walmart drop shipping, obviously there's no insertion fees. You can just list away as many products as you want. On Walmart, I got up to like 50,000 products at one point. Amazon, I think the most I ever had was in like the probably like 10 to 12,000 range. maybe a little bit more at one point, but um, yeah, so you can list unlimited amounts of inventory. Whereas wholesale, they give you that limit, and that's the frustrating part. But the margins are better in wholesale. Uh, the ROI, um, obviously better. You just have to invest the money up front rather than when someone buys. And yeah, I mean, I think wholesale's there's a lot more longevity to it. I feel like I'm actually building something. As I mentioned, it's cool to actually be able to see that my physical products are in a warehouse, sitting on a shelf, ready to go whenever my limits open up. But like also people are getting those products at a good price. I don't feel like I'm like ripping people off. As bad as that sounds, like looking back on it, dropshipping is a very savage way to make money online because you're kind of taking advantage of people who don't understand um, how to price shop. You're really just taking advantage of the person that goes on and sees something they like and just clicks buy, not knowing paying. They're essentially getting double charged on the markup, um, on the retail markup. So yeah, I feel better about it. Like I got a lot of products that I'm the cheapest on Amazon, and if they went to Walmart, they'd be paying more. So I feel good about it. Like I'm not taking advantage of some old lady sitting in her house not understanding that these things happen online where you could go somewhere else and get it cheaper. But yeah, anyway, um, I just think it's a better business model overall, and that's really why like I quit drop shipping. I didn't want to be dropship Tyler anymore. I saw all the things happening to people like with getting their accounts suspended, and I just wanted to make the switch to FBA. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And also good news for those of you that have been following me for the past year with the Walmart dropshipping stuff. You'll know that around 7 or 8 months ago, I was suspended from Walmart, and they were holding a lot of my money, like to the point where I was in a pretty bad situation if they didn't pay me, and so I had to go a few months with not having that money from Walmart, and they paid me a little bit. They paid me not a little bit. They paid me like 60%. They paid me the majority. Probably 4 months ago. I don't even can't even really put a timeline on that. It was 4 or 5 months ago because I kind of just wanted to forget about it. So yeah, I think I could look back, but 4 or 5 months ago, and then yesterday I actually got an email from Walmart that they're gonna pay me the rest of the money. So that money has been tied up for 8 months because of drop shipping. People think money gets tied up in inventory for a long time if you do wholesale FBA. Um, I mean, you could potentially have money stuck in Amazon for months and Walmart for months if you try drop shipping on those platforms. So everything has a risk associated with it. And I think risk versus reward. Drop shipping back in the day was a very great game. I think the risk is too heavy now, and I think risk versus reward wholesale is probably the best option there is out there for someone who wants to get into e-commerce. Maybe retail arbitrage, like sending things in if you know the proper products and you're not going to get like hammered with asking for invoices and things. Uh, when I say retail arbitrage, I'm talking FBA, like sending products in. Um, and then also, if you can do wholesale drop shipping, I've never tried it. That's probably not that risky because you don't have to have much infrastructure around it. But Ecom Solutions is basically wholesale drop shipping. It's just you're putting your money in up front, and you're not having to create your own infrastructure around it, which is the whole reason why people love drop shipping in the first place. The fact that it's all digital and the fact that or virtual, whatever, and also you don't have to put up a lot of money. Wholesale, you do have to put up a lot of money, but it's still all online, just clicking buttons. So yeah. Anyway, if anyone else has any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below. And I see Gary said, "Sounds good. I'm trying a different way, but I may be back to you at some point." Sounds good, Gary. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. And if you could hit that like button before you leave, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to this video or to the channel. And appreciate you watching this video. Thanks, guys.